Holy shit, Ben Affleck is Batman? That was honestly one of my biggest worries before watching Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Not because I dislike Ben Affleck, I just couldn't picture him as Batman. But about 5 minutes into this movie, I didn't see Ben Affleck anymore. I saw Bruce Wayne. And when he put on that suit, I saw Batman. And oh my God, was I not prepared for him to be this badass. Hello, boys and girls, witches and vampires, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Nightmare. Today I'm reviewing Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition, which I recently watched for the very first time over on my new channel, The Horror Chick Reacts. My full first-time reaction is on there now, so after this review, go ahead and jump on over and watch it and hopefully enjoy it. And of course, there will be major spoilers. This movie immediately pulled me in by showing the destruction of Metropolis from Bruce Wayne's perspective. We already watched that battle of Man of Steel, but seeing Bruce on the ground running towards the destruction while everyone else is running away helped me to understand why he feared Superman so much. He watched his employees die, and he saw his buildings collapse. He held a frightened child who had lost her mother. From that moment, Superman wasn't a hero to Bruce, he was a potential threat. This version of Batman was more brutal and darker than I expected. Something inside of Bruce had clearly broken after years of fighting all these villains and evil people. He was branding criminals using extreme violence and trying to convince himself that Superman had to die. Not because Superman had deliberately turned evil, but because Bruce was terrified of what may happen if he ever did. Jeremy Irons was fantastic as Alfred. He wasn't simply standing around serving tea. He helped Bruce with his technology, guided him through missions, and told him exactly when he was being an idiot. Alfred could see that Bruce was losing himself even when Bruce couldn't. And Ben Affleck was incredible. As Bruce Wayne, he was charming, intelligent, and almost like James Bond. At Lex Luthor's party, he looked like he owned the entire building while secretly investigating everyone inside. But as Batman, he was terrifying. His first appearance almost felt like something from a horror movie. Even the criminals were more afraid of Batman than they were the police. Then we got the warehouse fight, and holy shit. He was brutal, fast, and completely unstoppable. Every punch looked painful. He was throwing people across rooms, smashing through walls, and using everything around him as a weapon. I was not prepared for Batman to kick that much ass. Henry Cavill was once again brilliant as Superman. He brought everything I loved about him from Man of Steel, but this time Clark was dealing with the entire world judging him. Some people saw him as a savior. Others saw him as a dangerous alien or a false god. He wanted to help people, but every time he acted, somebody questions his motives or blames him for the consequences. There was so much sadness in Henry Cavill's performance. Superman may be physically powerful, but emotionally, the weight of the world was crushing him. I also love that Lois Lane was given an important investigation of her own. She was investigating the recovered bullet after the incident in the beginning of the movie, and gradually piecing together that Lex Luthor had been manipulating everything. She wasn't just Superman's girlfriend waiting to be rescued. She was intelligent, brave, and actively uncovering the conspiracy. Amy Adams was brilliant again, and her relationship with Clark felt even more intense in this film. Now, the actual Batman and Superman fight didn't feel completely equal, because Superman probably could have killed Batman at any moment. But Clark didn't arrive wanting to kill Bruce. Batman had prepared for the fight, and once he used the kryptonite, he definitely showed Superman that he kicks some ass too. And the lines between them were brilliant.
Tell me, do you bleed?
Followed by,
You will?
Batman knew that Superman was more powerful, so he used a whole lot of planning, intelligence, and kryptonite to bring him down to his level. Then we get the Martha moment. I had heard people talking and joking about the scene before, so now I understood what they really meant. But honestly, it worked for me. Batman had stopped seeing Superman as a person. He saw him as an alien, a weapon, and a danger to humanity. But when Superman believed he was about to die, he didn't beg Batman to save him. He begged him to save his mother. Hearing the name Martha took Bruce back to the night that his own mother was murdered. But more importantly, it forced him to recognize Superman's humanity. He realized Superman had a mother and that he had people he loved. He had fear and pain just like anyone else. Bruce also realized that he was about to become the same kind of monster who created Batman in the first place. And I especially loved when Batman said, "Martha won't die tonight." Maybe it sounds silly, but it kind of feels like Bruce was talking about both Marthas. He couldn't save his own mother as a child, but by saving Clark's mother, it felt like he had finally been given the chance to save his own mother too. That moment really worked well emotionally for me. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was probably one of the things that I didn't completely love. I'm not an expert on Lex Luthor, but his mannerisms and his nervous energy felt like kind of a lot at some points. He was less like the calm businessman that I expected, but more like an evil genius who had consumed 17 energy drinks. However, I will say that I absolutely hated him. Every time he appeared, I wanted somebody to punch him. But maybe that was exactly what Zack Snyder was going for. Maybe Lex was supposed to be this irritating, manipulating little shit that just gets under your skin. And if that was the goal, Jesse Eisenberg definitely succeeded. Then Wonder Woman arrived, and I was not prepared. First of all, Gal Gadot is absolutely gorgeous. But when she appeared in the fight with Doomsday in the full Wonder Woman costume, holy shit, that entrance was perfect. Batman believed he was about to die, and Wonder Woman landed directly in front of him, blocking the blast, and then that music started. I lost my mind. She was powerful, fearless, and looked like she was actually enjoying the fight. Superman and Batman were exhausted, while Wonder Woman was getting knocked across the battlefield, smiling and jumping right back into it. She really was a wonder. Gal Gadot smashed it. Doomsday was terrifying. I knew where he came from because we watched Lex create him, but I still had no idea how Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman were going to stop him. He kept getting stronger and surviving everything they threw at him. And then Superman died. I was not prepared for that at all. I had only just watched Man of Steel. I had watched Clark lose his father and discover who he was, fight Zod, and really struggle to find his place in this world. Then, throughout the movie, he was judged, blamed, and manipulated. And after everything he had been through, he still gave his life. He picked up the kryptonite spear, even though it was weakening him, and flew directly towards Doomsday. He knew what it could cost him. Superman died, saving a world that debated the entire movie whether or not he should even be allowed to exist. That was heartbreaking. But his sacrifice also brought Batman back from the darkness. Throughout the movie, Bruce really believed that Superman was a threat. By the end, he realized that Superman had been more human than he was. Superman reminded Bruce what a hero is supposed to be. Bruce had become angry, cruel, and lost. But Superman's sacrifice showed him the way back. And now Batman realizes that it's time to find the others and bring the team back together, which means we are headed towards Justice League. And after how much I loved Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League now has a whole lot to live up to. But I absolutely cannot wait to watch it. And I'll be reacting for the first time ever to the entire movie over on the Hard Chick Reacts, so please go ahead and make sure you subscribe to that as well. Visually, this movie was stunning. Zack Snyder's cinematography was dark, but it also had some color and vibrancy. So many moments looked like they had been taken directly from a graphic novel. Batman besides the bat symbol, Superman floating above the crowd, Wonder Woman's entrance, and Superman's funeral all looked incredible. The action was brutal, the emotional moments hit hard, and the music was epic. Hans Zimmer's Superman theme still gives me chills. Batman's music sounded heavy and dangerous, but Wonder Woman's music completely stole the show. Do I love Batman vs. Superman more than Man of Steel? I honestly don't know yet. I still need some time to think about it. But I can definitely say that for me, it was just as good. It was darker, more violent, and even more emotional. Henry Cavill was brilliant again, and Amy Adams had a story of her own. And Gal Gadot made an unforgettable entrance. And Ben Affleck completely proved me wrong. Within minutes, I stopped seeing Ben Affleck. I saw Bruce Wayne and I saw Batman. I'm going to go ahead and give Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition 5 out of 5 Bruces. I know that Zack Snyder's vision can tend to divide people, but it worked really well for me. So let me get this straight. I went into this movie asking, Ben Affleck is Batman? And I came out asking, why didn't anybody tell me Ben Affleck was Batman? He was rich, charming, emotionally damaged, drove an incredible car, and attended glamorous parties while secretly investigating an evil billionaire. That isn't just Batman. That is James Bond with childhood trauma and a cape. Then, Henry Cavill returned looking like Superman had been carved out of marble. Wonder Woman appeared, blocked a blast that would have killed Batman, and immediately became the coolest person in the movie. And poor Alfred spent the entire film watching Bruce make terrible decisions while wondering whether it was too late to find another job. But underneath the fighting and destruction, this movie was about two broken men who had stopped seeing the humanity in each other. Batman believed Superman was too powerful to be human. Superman believed Batman had become too cruel to be a hero. And in the end, Superman's humanity reminded Batman of his own. So yes, Zack Snyder, you did it again. You made everything darker, sadder, and more complicated, and somehow left me desperate to watch another 4 hours of it. I now believe a man can fly. I believe Ben Affleck can be Batman. And after that entrance, I believe Wonder Woman could probably defeat both of them while looking absolutely flawless. All right, guys. So let me know down below in the comments if you like this movie or not. If you thought that Ben Affleck would be a good Batman before and then after seeing it, if your thoughts changed perhaps on it. I know mine did. And I'm really happy I got to see it and change my opinion on it. I thought he was great as Batman. And don't forget, if you want to watch the full film with me and see my reaction, you can go ahead and hop on over to my new channel, The Horror Chick Reacts. I'm going to go ahead and put a link on this video down below so you can go check it out. Thanks so much for watching again today. Remember, don't mess with Jess. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you in the shadows. Bye-bye.